At the moment when the extraordinary becomes routine, that's when you know you're watching a generational player. Nikola Jokic is doing it again. It's the umpteenth season in which the Serbian center is putting up unprecedented numbers.
Switch back, Jokic makes his move, got inside, left-handed layup is good.
Once again leading the Denver Nuggets to one of the best records in the league, and once again placing them in the status of contenders for the title. Nikola's superiority is so great that fans no longer question it. What they are questioning is whether any team will be able to stop him, if any player will be able to stop his production.
Jokic has it. Clock ticks, gotta put one up. Jokic for the win! Oh!
The outlook for the NBA today is not very encouraging, to say the least. The league's plagued by injuries, and the teams favored to stop the Nuggets seem underpowered. If all goes according to plan, only the Celtics could have a realistic chance of beating them in the playoffs. But why is Jokic so unstoppable? Why hasn't any team or defensive system figured out how to stop his production? Well, let's talk about this. Not one, not two, not three, but this is already the fourth consecutive season in which Nikola Jokic is putting up numbers almost identical to those of his first MVP season. 26.4 points, 12.4 rebounds, and 9 assists per game. Once again, the only statistical precedent for the center's season occurred 62 years ago, when Oscar Robertson achieved almost the same line in the 1961-62 season. But at this point, is anyone surprised by this? I literally remember looking up his stat line from last season, and the only precedent was the same Oscar Robertson season. It's like Groundhog Day repeating itself over and over and over again, but instead of a day, it's a whole year.
Jokic into the lane. Turn. Wow. A beautiful spin.
This season, the circumstances are somewhat different. The Denver Nuggets and Jokic no longer have that incredible pressure to win their first championship. In fact, that pressure's turned into experience. Mike Malone's team is no longer experimenting to find a revolutionary offensive system that can change the game, because that system's already fully developed. It works. They know their strengths and weaknesses, and they're just perfecting what they already know how to do. The defending champs have started these playoffs proving the same thing they proved last season, proving that they are the best team in the entire NBA.
Caldwell Pope comes out of the pack. Here comes Murray. Alley-up to Gordon. Oh, what a play!
In fact, Mike Malone has managed to establish a really solid culture. When a team wins the championship, many of their important pieces end up leaving during that offseason. Or at least this happens on quite a few occasions. It's part of the process. The other 29 franchises crave these players who have experience in the big moments and who have proven themselves on the NBA's biggest stage, and they're willing to pay whatever it takes to get them. That's why many people thought Denver's chances for a repeat title were going to plummet when some of their bench pieces left the roster. The Nuggets used only 8 players in the 2023 finals against the Miami Heat, and 2 of them left the team in the summer to sign higher contracts. Bruce Brown and Jeff Green were a vital part of the rotation, but the Nuggets' culture has allowed them to do it without them. The culture's allowed them to insert new faces into the rotation who have assimilated into the system quickly. Peyton Watson and Reggie Jackson are players who didn't really get minutes against Miami, but now have become pieces that Malone relies on when resting his starters.
Jay, once again, right into the teeth of the Denver defense.
And Justin Holiday seems to be the only newcomer who's been part of the rotation in the playoffs. We've gotten tired of talking about how the Western Conference has been incredibly tough this year because of the upward progression of so many teams, even knowing the Memphis Grizzlies have been out of the game since nearly the beginning. But the amazing thing is that while most playoff teams that were considered contenders have struggled to qualify for the playoffs, or even the play-in in some cases, the Nuggets have been really comfortable all season long. Without giving 100%, Nikola's team runs itself. True, some doubts arose after they lost 4 out of 5 games at the beginning of the season, but they've solved those issues. The team's been running like a Swiss watch. In fact, since the All-Star break, the Nuggets posted a record of 21 wins and 6 losses to get in gear for the playoffs. And far from being a team that specializes in the regular season, that's where they've started to play their best.
Murray makes a move. Denver.
Being Groundhog Day, logically their rivals were going to be the Los Angeles Lakers, or should we say their victims. Once again, the Denver Nuggets showed their ability to kick it into high gear. It was incredible how they were able to close out games against the Lakers, who they're basically their tormentors at this point.
Scenario, we're going to overtime. Jokic a screen, Murray to try to break the tie.
LeBron James and the Lakers always make the best possible effort to get to the end of the game with a tight score, or on many occasions getting ahead on the scoreboard. But with the exception of Game 4, they weren't able to win another game. A result of 8-1 in the last 2 playoffs, a streak of 12 wins in the last 13 games against the team of one of the 2 GOAT candidates. The Denver Nuggets know how to stop the Lakers. But have you noticed? What team in the West is going to be able to match up with them? Well, the answer's probably none. Or at least none of the usual contenders. The Mavericks struggled to beat the Clippers. I mean, they have one of the best duos in the league, if not the best.
Irving, dancing, prancing, pulls up, three-pointer, bang!
But their supporting cast is not up to compete with Denver. The only teams that could put Jokic in serious trouble are the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Oklahoma City Thunder. Very young and inexperienced teams that have shown an unreal progression. Maybe they have a plan, or possibly even the answer.
Guarded by McCollum. Chisels into the paint, flicks it up and in!
But on paper, I mean, are they really going to stop the best player of his generation? And are they also going to stop Jamal Murray, who's already showing his playoff version? We doubt it. In a hypothetical finals, which team could face Denver? The logical answer is Boston, and probably the best option. Along with Minnesota, they're the best defensive team in the league, and they have players to stop the Nugget stars. Derek White and Drew Holiday could alternate with Jamal Murray, and Porzingis and Horford would do their best to reduce Jokic's production. But beyond that, the conference looks weakened. Two of the biggest contenders, Philadelphia and Milwaukee, have stumbled in the first round.
They defeat the Sixers 118 to 115.
And the Knicks don't look poised to beat Denver in 7 games either. Then Cleveland lacked the necessary experience. Let's see, as I could easily put it, Nikola Jokic is destined to get his 3rd regular season MVP in 4 years, and probably his 2nd finals MVP as well. It's as simple as that. In fact, the MVP thing is already a reality. Nikola Jokic will become only the 9th player in history to win 3 awards, joining Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Moses Malone, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. Quite elite company. His legacy is growing by leaps and bounds before our eyes. He's become one of the faces of the NBA. In fact, when Steph, KD, and LeBron end their careers, Jokic could become the emblem of the league, that player capable of representing the association around the world. No active player would have better milestones. What's clear at this point is that Nikola Jokic is a generational player through and through.
Joker's best player in the game. Right now, best player in the game. Unstoppable.
Not only has he created a mold on which multiple young big men have based their game like Alperen Şengün or Domantas Sabonis, not only has he changed the game by creating a point center concept that a decade ago would have seemed unthinkable, Jokic is building one of the most powerful dynasties in recent NBA history. There's no reason why any of Denver's important core players will be leaving the team in the near future, nor is there any reason for regression. They're all young. The foundation is more than solid. Nikola's building a team that'll go down in league history for its spectacular offensive system. And the thing is that it doesn't look like any team's going to be able to do anything about it. Only the arrival of a new generational player with even greater talent could prevent it, although maybe that's closer to happening than we think.